Welcome back for lesson number 13. Today we're going to be learning about 2D arrays and array lists. This is building off of our lesson 12, which dealt with arrays. I've already gone ahead and saved our file, and this one's going to be called array 2D. So let's start off by making our class declaration. So we're going to say public class array 2D. Okay. And let's make our main method, so public static void main string args. Okay. And we're actually going to make use of the scanner again, so we're going to import java.util.scanner with a capital S, semicolon. Okay. So we're going to, in this program, be dealing with temperatures of some days. So to start off, we're going to ask the user how many days they want. But we need to make our scanner first. So let's make our scanner object. Scanner equals new scanner system.in. Let's ask the user how many days they want to do this for. So system.out.println many days. Let's store that in int value. So int days equals scanner.next int. Okay. Then we're going to have a high and a low for each day. So each day is going to have 2. So we're going to make our 2D array. And in this case, we're going to make it a double because your temperature can have decimals. So a double 2D array, we're going to call it temp for temperature, equals new double. It's going to have an unknown number of rows. So that's going to come from our days, and each day is going to have 2 values associated with it. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to make our for loop again to initialize our array, because right now we have made an array that has days number of rows and 2 columns for each row, but we don't have anything inside of that yet. So we want to say for int r equals 0, r less than temp.length r plus plus. We chose r in this case because that represents the rows. So now we're going to do a for loop for or we could either do a for loop for the columns, or we know that there's only going to be 2, so we can ask the user for a high and for a low. So let's do that. So we have system.out.println, enter the high and again, similar to our program where we used for our array, we don't need to make a new variable to store this. We can just say temp at row, and the first value is going to be at 0, equals scanner.next double. And similarly, we can copy, paste, and change. So now we're going to say enter the low, and instead of being at column 0, we're going to say at column 1. So this will go through for each of our rows. It will add a high and a low. So then what I want to do is I want to find the average for each day. So why don't we go back here and change this to a 3, and temp at R2 is going to equal temp at R0 plus temp at R1 divided by 2. That should give us our average because we're adding 2 temperatures and then dividing by the number of things that we added. So now our third entry is for each row is going to be our average. So let's just make a comment so that when we come back to this later we know that this is our average. So average temp for day. Okay? And now to find the overall average, what we want to do is again make another for loop. So I'm just going to copy this for loop and we can change it. So again it says this for loop, and we're going to get rid of these right here. I'm going to make a variable outside of here. I'm going to call it double average because it's going to keep track of our overall average temperature. And we're going to say average equals average plus temp at R2, because remember this is going to be the average temperature because we got it right here. So we're going to have to set this equal to 0 to start out with so that we don't get errors saying we didn't initialize. And then after we have added all these up, we need to divide by the number of things being added. So average equals average divided by temp dot length. Okay? And then just to show that we have done the average, let's print it out. So system.out.println the average temp was plus average. There we go. Okay, let's save it. And then let's go ahead and compile it. So again, make sure that you're in the right class and do Java C, this one was called array 2D dot Java. And now let's run it. Java array 2D. How many days? Let's do 3 days. Enter the high. We have 60. The low was 50. So the average for that day should be 40. It should be 55, sorry. Enter the high for day 2. We're going to enter 70. And the low was again 50. That should have an average of 60. And enter the high one more time, 80, and the low this time is going to be 60. So what we have is we had 55 plus 60 plus 70. So 55 plus 60 plus 70 equals 185. Divide that by 3 and we get 61 2/3, which you see is the average temperature that we got.